What is up, YouTube? We are back. UFC Australia, Perth, Ulberg versus Reyes. This video, part of the Random Hunt series, we got wild boar in Hirschfelden. So we will be trying to get the wild boar as we be breaking down the fights, and we will go from there. But let's get this all squared away. I gotta start with finding the wild boar's drinking time. See what goes on there first. Wild boar, class 5, 144.25 is the number we're looking for, and it's gonna be a night hunt. Interesting. We'll see how this goes. Alright, so we'll set this back and go from there. But let's kick it off. We got a decent card, not really. The co-main event and whatever should tell it all. Um, those are going to be really fun fights, but they're not that type of material. But either way, I'm excited. We're back after a week off, and we'll break it down. Let me see where I want to go first with this. Alright, well, we'll check out. Gotta go somewhere else. Oh my gosh. Right here. Try this. First fight, we got Luke Boonmi versus Alexa Thayanora. Thayanora had her debut against Molly McCann. She looked decent, but looking good against Molly McCann isn't really anything that crazy. Either way, it was a debut. It was a good debut. We're not saying that it was not, but either way, I was still kind of expecting. Um, I wasn't expecting anything. I'm outside of that, but yeah. So I think Dianora is decent, but she's going up against someone who a lot of people think is the dark horse of this strawweight division in Luke Boonmi. So be very curious to see how this fight goes down. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be competitive. However, I am probably going to lean with. Oh no! Oh no! Oh! Probably going to lean Luke Boonmi just because the experience. Um, she's very calculating what she does. Grappling heavy. I think she might be able to institute that here again on Thayanara. Um, would be interested to see how this goes. I will be tuning in for this. You best believe it. See who's the future strawweight contender over here. But yeah, we're gonna go with Luke Boonmi by decision. On to the next fight, we got heavyweight bout between Alicia Ellison versus Brando Perisic. Um, don't know either of these guys. I have a feeling this Ellison guy's gonna win though, and I'm gonna go by second round KO. That's gonna be my prediction on that. Let's see. Anything down here? No. Let's get out a little bit more. Maybe I can get out a little bit more. Oh, nothing out here, right? Freaking Hirschfelder, man. Try up here. Let's see you up here. All right. But yeah, I'm not gonna really talk about this fight. I don't know too much about either of these guys. Hopefully, one of them will establish themselves as a prospect in this. That's what I'm hoping for, but we'll see what happens here. It's probably whoever lands the first punch clean. Going Ellison, second round KO regarding this one. On to the next one, we got Michelle Montague versus Luana Carolina. I think I'm rocking. I really want to rock Carolina here. Even though Carolina's had her moments of being embarrassed and whatever, and I want to go with her, but I feel a robbery here. I feel one where Carolina is going to be arguably winning, all 3 rounds, or clear 2, and they're just going to give it to Montague. I feel it, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to rock with Montague by decision, but I think Carolina should win. On to the next one, we got Colby Thickness versus Josiah Musasa. Musasa did not have such a great debut. Um, Looked horrible. Colby Thickness, if I remember correctly, this is the guy that faced Alexandra Topuria in the debut. And he didn't look that bad. It was very short notice from what I remember. I think it was supposed to be Cody Haddon, who was, yes, not on this card like I thought he might have been. So I think it was supposed to be Cody Haddon to fight Topuria. Thickness came in like on a few days' notice, maybe a week's notice, and clearly lost the fight, but he had definitely showed moments. Whereas Musasa, I just did not see like anything. I just did not think he looked that great. Might have been debut jitters, who knows? But either way, I am going to lean with Thickness. I think Musasa's going to be a little too careful in this fight. Not going to be. He's just going to be too concerned with surviving, and I think Colby Thickness is just going to kind of put it on him for like all 3 rounds, but don't think he's going to find the finish. So we'll go Colby Thickness by decision. On to the next fight, we got Jamie Malarkey versus Rolando Bedoya. I'm going to lean with. Well, actually, let's talk about these guys. So, Rolando Bedoya, I don't remember the last time I seen him fight. Was it against Jai Herbert? I'm pretty sure he lost. I've never been too high on him. Whereas JB Malarkey, at one point, I did think this guy was, right outside top 15, top 15. He was, like, kind of that good. And I think it kind of all changed after the Jalen Turner matchup. But, yeah, I think Malarkey is just kind of a little better than him. Oh, we're coming up on one. Oh, here we go. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I gotta see how I'm gonna get there. Either way, Malarkey, I just think his level's better. Red Deer Warning Call, what the heck? I'm gonna have to go for Red Deer. Yeah, either way, leaning Malarkey, second round KO on this one. What the heck is that? Oh my gosh, something is right on top of me. Yo, this is sketch. This is crazy. Where did that 3 go? Guess I'm gonna try to shoot the 2, see what happens. Something right there, dead. Alright, awesome. First wild board down. Alright, we got way too distracted there. On to the next. Oh, yeah, Malarkey second round KO. Next fight, we got Andre Petrosky versus Cam Rouston. Don't know who Cam Rouston is. I gotta go Petrowski, honestly. I don't really trust Petrowski, but I'm gonna lean on the experience here again. Um, because I don't know this Cam Rouston guy. Is he good? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I just never heard of him. I feel like if he was really that good, I would have seen something on Instagram about him, like one of the MMA accounts hyping him up before the weekend. But maybe I'm wrong, or maybe, he looks really good in here, and then people are like, oh, watch out for this guy. But yeah, I'm leaning Petrowski. I'm just gonna out grapple him the whole time, and it's gonna make it look somewhat easy, and that's how we're rocking. Oh, no, we're good. Okay, we can probably. Oh, it's so clear at night out here. What the heck? Look at this thing. Wow. Yeah, so Petrowski by wrestling is the move here. On to the next one, we got Navajo Sterling versus Hidolfo Bellato. Gosh, I don't think either of these guys are good. I think Sterling plays with his food too much. I think he's very hesitant. I think he has the tools in the world to be a pretty decent light heavyweight, and still very young in his career. I think he's only had 2 fights in UFC, but I think they're trying to build this guy up, but I don't see anything yet. And I don't think they're planning for him to be a star, but they're kind of curious with this guy, and especially in a weaker light heavyweight division. Um, I don't know though. I don't see anything too crazy happening here with this guy. Um, however, Adolfo Bellato, man, I meant, what was his last fight? It was that weird Paul Craig incident with the eye poker. Was it a groin shot? And then it was like I don't think it was a DQ win. I think it was a no contest. Like something happened, some foul happened, and the fight couldn't be resumed. Headbutt maybe. Something weird, man. But yeah, either way, I think. Wow, so no more boars over here? Like, this is crazy. Oh, maybe I gotta go back down there. Alright. Dang. Alright, well, we're gonna see what goes on over here. Yeah, so I don't trust Bellato at all. I'm gonna predict that Sterling actually will get a finish here, though. I'm not on the hype train at all. Like I said, I think there's a lot of holes in this game. Very hesitant when he shouldn't be. However, I do think he is a level or two ahead of Adolfo Bellato, who I think will get cut after he loses this one. Sterling second round KO. On to the next one, we got Tom Nolan versus Charlie Campbell. Tom Nolan has looked really good as of recently. I think he's on a 3 or 4 fight win streak. Charlie Campbell, I don't really remember him too much outside of I think he faced Chris Duncan on the Contender Series and was winning until got like flash KO'd. It was like one of those crazy comebacks. So I think I'm gonna be leaning. Um, I don't know, let's set a waypoint here. Gonna be leaning probably Tom Nolan here. I think he'll get a sub. I'm gonna go first round. I think it's gonna be a club and sub as well. I think, it's gonna be, very slow the first 2 minutes, 3 minutes in fight, and Tom Nolan's gonna find like a right hand, sits down Campbell, jumps on a rear naked choke or something, and that's gonna be it. So Nolan by first round sub. That's how we're rocking here, and the hype will continue for him. On to the next fight, we got Louis Sutherland versus Justin Tafa. I have no idea who Louis Sutherland is. Like, is this guy good and we're trying to build him up by having him face Tafa, or is this... Oh, I can't even see it. Or is this one of those where we want to get Tafa a win because Tafa's on home soil and all that, and hype up the crowd? But I don't know. I don't kind of how I've been rolling recently. Even though I don't think I've ever been burnt, if not burnt too bad from a Tafa brother, betting wise. But I think, bro, I get it. Jeez, I think. How I'm going to go with this one is essentially going to have to do Sutherland by first round KO because I just can't trust the Tafa guys, either of them. They kind of just have power. They don't really have chin anymore, a chin. Yeah, I'm going with Louis Sutherland, first round KO. On to the next fight, we got Neil Magny versus Jake Matthews. Interesting fight. I think both these guys are on win streaks. I think Neil Magny's on a 2-fight win streak. Matthews is on a 3, I believe. So this ought to be interesting. I think the last time Matthews' loss was against Michael Morales, which makes sense. Michael Morales is pretty good. I think I've seen some people say that fight's closer than people actually think. I don't know. I think Morales was kind of schooling him the whole time. I guess Matthews was technically in it, but Morales, I felt like shut down everything. But Jake Matthews looked really good recently. The grappling is coming along, very well rounded, and Neil Magny still kind of got something in the tank. So it's been pretty interesting to see how this has transpired. I still am probably just going to lean Matthews, but I think it's going to be by decision. I think Matthews is just going to be the quicker fighter, the more versatile with the striking, and I think Matthews is going to get it done by decision, honestly. So, yeah, I don't know. But on to the next fight, we got Jack Jenkins versus Ramon Tavares. Now that I'm kind of breaking down the fight, Ramon Tavares is starting to ring a bell. Could be wrong, but Jack Jenkins, I know this guy's a dog. I think he'll eventually be a top 10 to top 15 range of the featherweight division. I don't think he's top 10 quality, but I think he's pretty good. Actually, he might break into the top 10. He's very durable usually. Actually, wait, no. Doesn't he usually break his leg or something after every fight? I think there's something about that. But in fight, pretty durable. Also, from what I remember, well-rounded. He's actually decent. Tavares, I just can't really... Like, if I'm thinking of the same guy, I'm thinking of, like, he's pretty good too. But I'm going to trust in Jenkins, who has a few UFC belts or fights under his belt. A few UFC belts. So I think, yeah, I'm going to lean. This is weird. This setup is weird. I don't like this. Oh, it's like a cliff. What the heck? It's so hard to hunt this map right now. Yeah, I'll try this again. We'll try over here again. But yeah, I really like Jack Jenkins here. I'm going to say by decision though. I think it's going to be an absolute war. This is probably going to be my pick for fight of the night, and we'll go from there. On to the next fight, we got Jimmy Crute versus Ivan Urslan. Um, yeah, yeah. It's a crazy life we live, you know. This is the co-main event. Um, I like both these guys. I don't like talent-wise, they're trash anymore. I mean, Crew has shown he has some tools, but yeah, you know, it's not pretty, man. But I think what has to be said here is Crew, if he's smart, he's a top 15 light heavyweight. The problem is he doesn't always think like that, and it's just his fight IQ is pretty bad. Striking still needs work. Grappling is really good though. I think Ivan Urslan is not that good. You know, it's one of those, man. It's just one of those things. It's just like Ivan Urslan, man. I don't know. But I think overall what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take Jimmy Crute and I'm gonna trust him to get a sub, but in the second round, first round pretty slow. I think Urslan's actually gonna crack Crute, not drop him, but I think he's gonna crack him pretty bad. Have him up against the cage at one point. But I think Crute is gonna, kind of. I can't even think of the word. He's gonna stay composed essentially, and then just work his way back and just kind of go from there. So I'm gonna go with Jimmy Crute by second round sub in the co-main event. On to the next fight. Dominic Reyes versus Carlos Ulberg in the main event. This should be the title eliminator. However, I've thought about it. And the UFC, if they planned this how I think they did, which I believe they did, then you will know that this was the right idea. Initially, I was like, why would they come out and announce Khalil and Yuri as the title eliminator, whatever? Um, One, to hype up that card more, yes. Two, actually, they probably won't do it like this, but what they should do, you know, is what I thought is they were prepping for Ankalaev to win. That's why they set up the Yuri and Roundtree title eliminator, because it's a fresh matchup. If either one wins against Ankalaev, if Pereira loses twice, um, I think. Wait, which way I gotta go? I gotta go this way. I think. What was I saying? It was about. So yeah, I think that the UFC thinks that Ankalaev's gonna win. That's why they set that title eliminator between Roundtree and Yuri. However, if Pereira wins, you got two fresh matchups in either Reyes or Ulberg. But they probably won't dick over Yuri or Roundtree, even though they should. Like, Yuri has not done anywhere near enough to get a third undeserved fight I know he took the second one on short notice. We respect him for doing that. Put on a heck of a fight, but the two fights were just not competitive enough where I think he deserves it. The Khalil fight was kind of competitive, honestly, between Pereira. Um, you know what? I guess I wouldn't be too opposed for that rematch. I just thought it was a little too soon, but by the time that happens, it'll be like early to mid 2026 probably. Because I think Yuri and Roundtree are going to go to war, so they're going to need some time off if either of them, whoever wins, goes next. So yeah, I think overall it was a good move to have some plans. So you got two arguable title eliminator fights. I think one happens this weekend. If Alex Pereira were to win, if Ankalaev wins, though, it's very obvious that the Roundtree and Yuri fight will be next, or the winner of that will face Ankalaev next. But um, Dominic Reyes, three KO streak actually. Yeah, so he's kind of back, defeating Jacoby, Anthony Smith, and Nikita Krylov. Um, the chin still worries me, the durability, because outside of that, I still think Dominic Reyes is one of the best fighters in this division, but the chin does always worry me. Um, Ulberg also has somewhat sketchy durability. Point fighter for the most part. He does try to knock your head off sometimes, but he's very calculated. Part of that city kickboxing gym, you know how them guys roll. But yeah, I think I wanna go Reyes, man. I really do. I hope he proves me wrong, but I have a bad feeling Ulberg is gonna get him out of there quick. Actually, no. I'm gonna do the first ever mid-fight change to prediction, but it's gonna be a slight modification. We're gonna change from Ulberg first round KO to Ulberg second round KO. That's how I'm gonna rock here. I think Reyes will be doing decent, but can't really find Ulberg's chin. And Ulberg's obviously landed his shots, and it's gonna be a flash KO, and it's gonna be really sad. And then, it's just gonna be like one of those where people look back and be like, not really worry about that Jan Blachowicz, stinker that Ulberg had a few months ago. So either way, though, it's been great YouTube breaking down the fights. I need to unlock more of this map before I hunt this next because that was a bad hunt. But either way, I'm excited to see how these fights go. We got 13 fights and got a lot coming up here very shortly, so we'll see how this goes. But other than that, YouTube has been so real. We will talk to you after the fights on Saturday. No, definitely not Saturday. Sunday or Monday of next week. Goodbye.